one of the things we often don't understand or fully appreciate is that men are sensitive in ways that they don't even know. They're sensitive in ways that we don't even know. So if we're protecting ourselves, the message that gives to a man is that, oh, she doesn't need me. It's at the unconscious level, but protection is a way of like saying to him, I'm boarded up here, I'm armored here. There's no space for you to protect me. There's no space for you to take care of me. So protection is one of the fastest ways that we repel men from being able to offer their support, to offer their care, to offer their love, because there'll be a feeling for them that there's no way in. But also if we're protecting ourselves, it also kind of communicates to them that they need to protect themselves. Because if we're protecting ourselves, and in relationships, so much communication happens at the level of the subconscious. So when we protect ourselves, they go, oh, I better protect myself. And then you end up with two people meeting each other in the face of their defenses rather than in a space of openness. So when we learn to communicate from a place of letting the feelings ripple up and through the body and letting the feelings be congruent with what's spoken. Because what will happen is if we lock the feelings down, but then we try and speak to what's going on, our words are going to come out in a way that's blaming or accusatory. This was one of my patterns of going away. And I'm going to find the perfect way to say this to him. And when I find the perfect way to say it to him, then he'll get it and he'll never do that thing again. So I would go away and I'd like try and figure it all out and I'd try and use all my intelligence to come up with the smartest thing to say. And I'd come back and I'd be like, this is it. I'm going to tell him how I feel. Because I was so busy trying to figure out the right thing to say to have an effect on him, even the fact that I was trying to have an effect on him shows that I have an expectation that whatever is going to come out of my mouth will come out of my mouth with the energy of demand, because I've come up with something clever to try and change his behavior. And any attempt to try and change his behavior is going to feel like demand, pressure, expectation. And so then a man will be like repelled. Now he might be repelled physically, he might just be repelled energetically, such that he goes, whoa, I've got to protect myself here from this woman. And it was something that Rod and I had a number of disagreements on whilst I was working my way through this, because I was so used to relying on my intellect. But relying on my intellect to reveal my feelings just wasn't cutting it, because all I was doing was bringing an energy of control and demand. I wasn't being in the present moment. I wasn't revealing my heart. I wasn't allowing what was here in my body to ripple through with my breath, the sensations, and to come out through my voice and my face. Instead, I was like locking all this down because this was too intense for me to even know how to be with. And then my words were completely separated from what was going on, because I was so focused on saying the right thing in order to elicit a different behavior from him. I wasn't looking at changing my own behavior or my own experience. I just thought that if I was clever enough, I would finally get him to change. But trying to get the other person to change is really an experience of unlove. It's a way of saying to somebody, you're not good enough as you are. I need you to be different. Now, if there was truly something that I needed to be different in the relationship, the only thing I have the capacity to change is my own behavior, my own way of showing up. And so this is where we come back to being emotionally responsible. If I want something to change, I can change my behavior. And about 90% of the time, when a woman does change her behavior, what happens in the relationship changes. Doesn't necessarily change in the way she wants it to. Sometimes it changes and it falls away. Sometimes it changes and it grows with her. But whenever a woman is trying to change her partner, she just pushes him away, because any attempt to change him lands as unlove, lands as demand or control. And so being responsible for what's alive in our bodies, that's the thing that has the greatest effect on a man. When I'm present with my tears, my rage, my upset, my fear, and I allow that to ripple through, and perhaps I put words to it as well, but I allow that to come through, then in allowing that to come through, all of a sudden I experience Rod receptive, caring, protective, there for me. But if I try and change him, then I start this thing where we're both on both in defense and protection mode.